IPM stands for Integrated Pest Management. There are three practices to IPM: physical, chemical, and biological, which you guys see here. Physical is doing stuff by taking off dead leaves, disinfecting your shears between cuts, wearing booties on your feet, protect the spread of nematodes. Chemical stuff that you guys use every day, Roundup, herbicides, fungicides, all of that harmful stuff. So what we do to try and cut down our chemical use, we have biological control, which is in these cubby holes right here. So the first thing is what we have is a big pest. It's a bad guy. It's called the leaf miner. The leaf miner goes ahead and lays its larva inside of the leaf. As the larva grows, it burrows through the leaf, destroying any photosynthesis cells, so the plant isn't able to produce any food or energy for itself. So what we do to combat that pest instead of spraying harmful chemicals, we have the good guy, the parasitoid wasp. What this guy does is a stingless wasp. It's really small, you can't really see it. But what it does is it fills out the vibrations inside of the leaf. Go ahead and finds the larva, injects some larva inside of it. So as that larva grows, so does the wasp larva. So in the end, at the end of the cycle, instead of having a leaf miner fly hatch out, we now have a parasitoid wasp that hatches out. You guys enjoying your visit?
Yes.
Finally cool, yes.
Beautiful day. Done.
It's probably worse for you guys at some point. Working good.
Probably not.
So welcome to our biotechnology lab. Come down the stairs, look at the lab. Unfortunately, I can't take you guys inside the lab because it's a completely sterile environment. Not even I'm allowed inside. But what we do here is we make the Mickey Mini gardens. We do this by taking tissue culture. What we do is we take samples from the mother plant. It can be a root, stem, leaf, flower, seed. Go ahead and cut it up and dissect it. Disinfect it with alcohol and bleach. And we put it into a jar filled with agar solution. It's like a jelly-like substance. It's actually a seaweed extract that's filled with chemicals, hormones, and nutrients. Enough for the plant to survive while it's in that jar living. So if you guys look at the jar right now, the one without the box, that's about a month old. It's nice and air conditioned, so you guys can cool down a little bit. So welcome to our creative greenhouse. It's the one and only greenhouses where there's air conditioned, so try and enjoy it while you can. This is where we get to become plant imagineers and to play around with different systems and different growing medias. So the first system that we have here is a conveyor belt aeroponic system. What it does is spins around the Brussels sprouts. Inside of these troughs there's misters that spray nutrient water on top of the roots. Spreads it around to a dry area over here. Dries out the roots, brings it back around to get re-wetted by the misters, and that's how the plants get all of its water and nutrients. It's perfect for growing plants vertically, so like Brussels sprouts are a good example. Once these Brussels sprouts are done, we're going to start growing artichokes. So it kind of just gives you an idea of how you can grow vertically with a small space like this. The next thing that we have on a conveyor belt system is column pots. This is more conventional, more farming, more like it. I like this a lot better. There's more stuff in one column pot. But inside of that, it's completely hollow. It spins around. The misters at the top spray nutrient waters into the inside parts of the tube. All the water trickles down by the use of gravity. That's how all plants get all of its nutrients and water that way. Once the water gets cooled down to the bottom, all the plants at the bottom are able to get the same amount of nutrients as well. So the next system that we have in there is an aquaponic system across the canal. This is actually ancient Aztec technology. What the Mayans used to do is they have the fish ponds at the top of their pyramids, let the water flow down, go straight into the soil, and that's how they filtered out any of the bacteria and viruses that they had from the fish. But we're a little more advanced. There's no soil here in these greenhouses. So what we do is we have two filters in the back. The first filter filters out all of the solid waste from the fish. The second filter is filled with beneficial bacteria like those bugs I gave you guys. Those go ahead and break down any toxins and chemicals that the fish may emit into available nitrates and nutrients for the plants to absorb. Once it goes through that filter, it gets pumped to the top of the channels, and that's how the plants get all of its water and nutrients. That's one of the only circulating systems in here besides NFT systems too. So that's a really good way for you guys to grow fish and vegetables at the same time. The next thing that we have here are vertical hydrostackers. These vertigirls are able to stack on top, and the water trickles down. This was perfected here in Florida for the strawberry industry. So if you can imagine a flat row of strawberries, you can probably fit about 30 of them in here. Now with the 4 corners of pots, you have 10 pots in a column. You can fit about 400 of them. So all it is has water, nutrient waters at the top, trickle this down. All these pots are filled with perlite. Perlite's puffed up volcanic rocks, soil media, but it's very porous, so all the water goes down, so nothing gets bound at the top. All the nutrients get down to the bottom, so everything grows evenly. Chases it away. It also closes its leaves at night to prevent any water loss. So this is the only plant in the greenhouse that has no morning dew. Wow. So you better shake it like this.
Aww. On the inside.
So welcome to the string greenhouse. This is my greenhouse. I'm in charge of this. I work in it every day. It's called the string greenhouse because obviously everything's grown on strings. This is where your cucumbers came from. There's nothing on here because we're pulling it out tomorrow. So this crop's on the way it's out. It's about 3 months old. Usual cucumber crops last about 6 months old. Just because at the end of 6 months they're about a football field long. So that takes a lot of energy to pull the plants from the water from the bottom to the top. So that's why they're removed every 6 months. So across the canal, if you guys look across, there's some nice cucumbers growing. That's where the new samples will come from. Those are the new ones. Those are about a month and a half old. So you can see the growth. Cucumbers grow about 6 to 7 inches a day here in the greenhouses. If you guys have a sophisticated greenhouse, you gotta be able to control the environment. They can grow up to 12 inches in a day. They produce about 6 fruit in a day from that 12 inches. So yeah, there's 6 internodes, so there's 6 inches, there's 3 internodes, so you just double it. It takes about a week and a half for the cucumbers to get to the size that you want. After that, you can grow them into these molds. You can make into Mickey heads. What we do is we put it in when they're about a pinky size big, and then in about a week and a half, they grow perfectly into those molds, and that's how we get our Mickey shaped cucumbers. So we're gonna go this way. Now that you guys see where you guys samples came from, we're gonna show you how to get to a lot of other vegetables. So this is our home garden section. This is a tomato tree. This is a baby, it's about 3 months old. This tomato's not really high in production right now. It's a little too hot, so you can see a small amount of tomatoes growing on them. But how we do this is we get a regular sized plant. It's an indeterminate variety, so they keep growing. When they get to about a foot big, we reach the top of the head. That causes it to branch out. That's when we start training the branches to look like this. It's really good for you guys if you guys have a small area to grow and just want to grow one plant, keep track of one plant. But after that, it's really hard to control just because once you get to the canopy, they make a nice dense mat. It's really hard to control how the leaves and how everything else grows. But if you're growing a vine, this is how a vine grows. Every week, it grows 3 leaves, 1 fruiting truss, and it grows about 6 to 7 inches in a week. So that's not as fast as a cucumber, but it's pretty fast. It takes about 8 weeks for it to get established. So after 8 weeks, you can harvest your first rack of tomatoes. And after that, you get a rack of tomatoes every week. If you have like a Romo variety, you keep 5 on a vine. If you have a cherry variety, you let the cherries flower out. The longer the cherry truss, the more even in color the full will become. If you guys have a beefsteak, it's 3 per truss, just to even out the size. That's how all the production warehouses do it. So I mean, it's just a little trick for you guys to grow. Behind that, we have an omega wheel. That omega wheel makes about 1 revolution every 45 minutes. It has 80 plants in there, so it's great for a small area. Spins it around, gets the roots of nutrient water at the bottom, lets it dry at the top, and then makes another revolution and it back into the nutrients. Behind that we have spinning NFT systems. What it does is it spins the system, making the things flow down spirally, but also evens out the sunlight, so not one side of the lettuce is getting more than the other. Other than that, there's just regular buckets of water with small water pumps that pump the nutrients to the top of the containers and they flow down to the bottom. These tubs are just filled with cauliflower, flows into those bottom tub in the middle. That's pumped into the omega wheel. That's how we recirculate all the water in the system. 100 pounds of tomatoes. That's 32,000 fruit. So this is a picture of what it looked like.
Wow, that's a nice tree.
We haven't gotten it to look like that quite yet. After that first couple of years, just increase in production. They don't know why. I think it's just because the summer's just been getting hotter. Yeah, so it's slowing down. So we're gonna go this way. There's about 640 heads of lettuce in each table. That's a lot of salad. So you look across the now. That Mickey head, that's the table we're harvesting this week. The next one we're gonna harvest week after that's the Mickey now right here. Week after that's the Mickey now on that side. Week after that's this one. So that's how we keep cycle going. It's good for you guys to grow your own. Got our pumpkins. So these are what the pumpkins look like. Unfortunately, this isn't the biggest pumpkin we've grown here. The largest one we've grown here was about 460 pounds.
Wow.
The largest one was actually grown this past year in Canada. That was 1,800 pounds. But we like to play around with our food. So we have our Cinderella variety. So that's what it looks like without the mold. After we put the mold on it, that's what it looks like after. Like I was saying earlier, we don't like to grow anything on the ground, so we grow these guys above ground. So this is how we do it. We have net pots to suspend the weight of the pumpkins. So the smaller ones, like the Cinderella variety, we just wrap a rope around the stem, suspend it on the frame, and that's how we get it to hang. So you guys can see the two different hanging types right there. But for the big ones, like the big boys that we grew here, these guys are actually suspended on tables. We drill holes on it, put the ropes to the corners of the table, and that's how we suspended the weight. So this is the biggest pumpkin that we've ever grown here. So the things that are behind the pumpkins, those are actually called winter melon, not zucchinis. But they're actually mainly used in Asian cuisine. So if you guys ever tried it, it's actually stick tofu, absorbs all the flavor in the broth from the stew. People actually use it as a snack. They candy it, they put some brown sugar on it, let it dry out, and that's what they feed to their kids. But you guys can also try the juice. I've seen it canned in the Asian section at a grocery store. It tastes a lot like a watermelon, just not sweet. Same texture and everything. They're actually called the winter melon because in the olden days they could harvest it in the fall. It'll last throughout the entire winter, and that's why they call it a winter. Behind the winter melon is cotton. I didn't notice before, but cotton had three flowers. Gold. First one's gold, the second one's pink. The third one's a spindly fiber that you guys have in your clothes today. So ours are slowly producing that spindly fiber and producing the thorns. So that's why when you guys saw cotton pickers, that's wear long sleeve shirts. That's why they produce thorns, and that's why they have to protect themselves. So next to the cotton, we have a small basket of the old intern group. That was their cotton they produced. So soon we'll have our own new batch of cotton to show you guys. Next to the cotton is sugar cane. This is what I grew up around. The way they harvest sugar canes, they'll burn the entire fields. Burning the fields also sterilize the soil. So it sterilizes the soil from heavy pathogens, killing all the weed seeds. But also help break down the stalk to make it easier to harvest the juices to make the sugar and the molasses that you guys eat today. But this was actually discovered on accident. Competitive farmers thought by burning each other's fields they eliminated the competition, but in reality they just helped out the industry, and now that's how all the sugar cane is harvested. 4 or 5 minutes here. These guys are actually cannibalistic, so once they shed their skin, they emit a chemical that tells all the birds that they're weak, and they'll start picking at it and destroying it and eating it. So what we do is we can save them from ourselves, or they protect themselves with all these little items right there. So see there's items in the tank, they'll claim it as their own, and they'll guard them with their lives. Obviously because they have to. But if you guys look at the tank, the bigger the bluer the call, the more dominant the male they are in the tank. These guys are actually hard to farm on your own because when they're born, they like to live in salt water. But after a couple of weeks, they develop their gills, and that's when they like to live back in fresh water. So that's why we're having a hard time raising these shrimp. But after we get them in there, they like to eat their own food and eat each other. So
They're cute.
no, we can't eat any of them. Give us new runs, and that's how the cycle continues. These guys are mainly farmed for hiding their meat. But if you ever try alligators, try the cheek because it's really good as a strong jaw muscle. Alligators are one of the only species to ever come onto the endangered species list. In the early 80s, they were almost extinct thanks to the farmers. They're now one of the biggest nuisances here in Florida. Almost every body of water has an alligator living in it. If you guys look at them, I just learned this a couple of weeks ago. If you guys look at the snouts, the more white they are, the more calm they are. The darker the snout, the more aggressive they are. So that's why fully grown alligators have a really dark snout. But the babies have nice white ones and they have stripes. So slowly they'll start developing the nice dark stripe in the middle, and that's when they'll start biting you. I doubt it. But they make great pets.
Yeah. Get rid of the other pets.
These guys, all they do is season meat. They're fed once a day, every other day. So they'll start gathering around here when they get hungry. That's where we throw their food in. But we feed them pellets, not meat. If you guys ever ate past on the menu here at Disney, this is where they came from. We also have big tanks and life support. So we got new baby bass. These guys are going to be harvested and given to the chefs. They come in here every week, and that's what the daily specialist. They have bass once a week. This is compared to a cattle that takes 4 or 5 pounds of food to produce 1 pound of meat. These guys are also a hybrid variety. 80% of them are male, so that cuts down their aggression in the tank. So all they focus on is eating and growing. If you think they're growing in the confined space now, local farms are growing about 1 gallon of water per fish. Here they're growing about 5 gallons of water per fish. So what we're going to do is we're going to feed these guys. I'm going to give you guys some pellets.
Hey, Tyler, you may get some again.
Look at us.
Look at them.
No.
So we're going to gather around the tank on the count of 3. We're going to throw the pellets in there. But it only blooms at night, so we have no bats here. So how we pollinate them is in turns. We have to draw straws. Shortest straw has to stay overnight, come in early in the morning, pollinate all the flowers. If we don't pollinate them, they die and we have no fruit. But the dragon fruit has 2 different colors. I'll show you guys a picture of it. So what it looks like. It has a white and a red variety. It tastes like a kiwi, same texture. White one's a little more sweet than the red one. Red one's a lot more tardy. But the red one does sting your teeth. So if you guys want to play a nice trick on somebody, April Fool's coming up around the year, get a red dragon fruit, feed it to them, stay in your mouth for about an hour unless they brush your teeth. So as interns, when we came in, none of us tried dragon fruit before but me. I never had the red variety, I didn't know it stained our teeth. We all tried it and gave our first rounds of tours to guess. They all chuckled at us and we couldn't figure out why. We all looked at each other, we all smiled, and we noticed we had a red tint. So if you guys ever want to play a nice trick on somebody, it's the best way to do it. I'm also going to give you guys something nice to smell. This is lemongrass.
Robin, do it.
Yeah.
Oh! Yeah, automatically.
You guys learn a lot?
We were just saying about if we buy pumpkin seeds from Disney World, will they grow into the shape of Mickey Mouse or
Oh,
something?
I wish. Tinkerbell comes in, but
Yeah.
yeah, next time you have to come back, take the tour again. Internship got every 6 months, so all the tours are on our sheet.
Another few years, we'll come back.
Yeah, if we come back in a few years, they're gonna renovate in a couple of years. So it might be completely different. Different layouts, different props. Always gonna have Mickey pumpkins and Mickey shoe members. Yeah, it is like a big degree difference.